GTA 6! Cyberpunk has a resurgence? And EA's Iron Man! Extra, extra, hear all about it!
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast with the hosts who are offended we can no longer cook our chicken with NyQuil. I'm the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater if you are on Twitter or Twitch, and joining me is twitch.tv/LMJ the Hitman, Landen.
Howdy, howdy, ho, neighbors, friends, gentlemen, ladies.
Everyone. Non-binaries, we welcome everyone here. Except incels. We don't welcome incels. You can find another podcast. My wife was just recently playing a game. I want to say it was Phasmophobia, but it could have been First Class Trouble. She plays a lot of that too. And she hopped into a lobby and said hi to everyone, and they go, "Are you a girl?" And she goes, "Well, I'm a little old to be a girl, but yes, I'm female." And they're like, "Oh, we don't allow girls," and kicked her out of the lobby.
What?
Yeah, they kicked her out of the lobby because she has a vagina.
Interesting.
I don't understand that line of thinking. Like, I mean, I guess when I was, like, in kindergarten, I was like, this club is no girls allowed. But I was, like, 5. These are, teenagers, or even older than that. Like, grow up.
Yeah, that's sad.
Women exist, and you're not going to have a woman. I mean, now, if you don't want a woman, that's perfectly okay, but you're not going to make a lot of friends with,
that's for sure,
by being like, girls aren't allowed to do boy things. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. You're welcome. And this is Extra Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast covering the news leading up to Sunday, September 25th, 2022. And if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/thebriefingroom. Let's get to some news. But first, actually, I realized I should have brought this up before. I did a test episode, and I'm probably going to do a few more and try it out, where I just take a news story and put it on, YouTube Shorts and the TikToks, and I don't really have Instagram, and I'm not really interested in getting that. But if I do, I'll be putting it on there. But yeah, it's just like a 1 minute-ish clip, video of me talking about a news story and my thoughts. The first one was 2 minutes, and then I realized YouTube Shorts, even though they're taking off after TikTok, only allow 1 minute videos. Which I know a lot of TikToks are less than a minute, but TikTok allows for longer. So you'd think with them, YouTube trying to copy them, YouTube would be like, we need to do exactly what they're doing because that's what's successful. But
you would think.
But yeah, they don't do that. But surprisingly enough, YouTube has done nothing this week and is looking real good compared to one of their rivals. So that's not in the news story, but Twitch is not doing well. So
No, they're not.
Landen, do you hear that? Drip, drip, drip. Does this sound like leaks to you? Drip, drip. That's right, GTA leaks. So these leaks come from a user called Teapot Uber Hacker, who posted to the GTA forums. It essentially confirms the characters in the Vice City locale. And the clips have been showing off various mechanics and sites. The user claims to have GTA 5 and GTA 6 source code, as well as a test build for GTA 6. He is threatening to release the test build, but he's using that test build as a ransom to negotiate with Rockstar and Take-Two. Interesting choice. And is selling GTA 5's source code for no less than 5 figures. GTA 6's code is not for sale at the moment, but, who knows if he needs more leverage or not. These leaks also confirm there is a GTA conversation mechanic similar to Red Dead 2. It must be noted the game likely won't release till 24 to 25, 2024, 2025. And Take-Two released this statement. Rockstar Games recently experienced a network intrusion which an unauthorized third party illegally accessed and downloaded confidential information from its systems, including development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto. Current Rockstar Games services are unaffected. We have taken steps to isolate and contain this incident. Work on the game will continue as planned. At this time, Rockstar Games does not anticipate any disruption to its current services, nor any long-term effect on its development timelines as a result of this incident. Ooh, that was a lot, Landon. What do you think?
That was a lot. It sucks to be Rockstar. That's what I have to say off the bat. That really sucks to be Rockstar. Leaks are never good. All this is going to do is delay the game even further. And I mean that, or they'll do like a title and full official release of the name, maybe. But all we're gonna do is push this game back further by watching this. Anything that you guys see is nothing special. It's just bare minimum game. Like we're aware that this is a blank check video game. It's gonna look and play as good as all the rest of their titles. So I don't think nobody need to even see this. Like it doesn't even matter. Not a big deal. It just sucks to be Rockstar that are leaked. There's no significance of us seeing it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, the team at Rare showed off what their test build looked like for what is it called? The Sea of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't remember. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. And the Sea of Thieves test build footage looks nothing like the final game either. So it's not like we're actually seeing a preview of the game. It is so early that it's not gonna look like that by the time we get done.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah. Some of the other things I know, like you said, that it's definitely. They say it's not going to affect long-term timelines. I think it probably will. The other sucky thing is this is going to affect the employees because Rockstar has taken steps to make their workplace a little easier to work, which includes allowing people to voluntarily work remotely. Well, this hack came from them accessing the Slack channels, which is Slack is like a business text, file sharing service. So they hacked a third-party service to access all this stuff, which means there's a chance Rockstar could be like, all right, no more work from home. You have to work in the office, which would really suck for the developers, which is the other thing that really, really sucks. The hacker also, this hacker is also believed to be the hacker that hacked Uber, which you look at his name and it's like, yeah, what gave that away? And I have to say, what's his next handle gonna be? Kettle GTA hacker. I would say though at this point the source code for GTA 6 isn't gonna be a big issue like it is with 5, because with 5 the game's already out, so that is the source code. Which means anyone that actually buys that source code can then cheat in GTA Online because that's using that source code. Now, granted, you can also ask if someone's paying 5 figures to buy the source code, do they really need to cheat, with the money and everything? And the answer is no, but rich people gonna rich. I am very interested in this conversation mechanic, though. I'm interested in the fact that it would be a very cool thing in GTA, but also not interested in the fact that to this point, a lot of similar games having conversation mechanics was actually not good. Some of the best conversation mechanics, I'd argue, are from Mass Effect, but I can't think of very many other games that have good conversation mechanics.
Yeah.
So, also, I love how he's like, I'm going to negotiate with Rockstar. Which, if you remember, I want to say this was 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago at the earliest. Take-Two actually sued and banned some players on GTA Online because Rockstar had a glitch where they accidentally gave some players money and then those players spent that money. And that wasn't on the players. That was Rockstar accidentally giving them money. And Take-Two still banned them. And, I think they took one of them to court. But it's like, that's just people that did nothing and took advantage of a glitch. Imagine what Take-Two will do to a hacker.
The guy was wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah. This guy, and Uber has teamed up with Take-Two and the FBI to figure out who the fuck this guy is. He better be dipping out, Like,
for real, I'd be leaving the country. I don't even know if that's good enough.
Yeah. Go off the grid, like no electronics for a long time. Just have your hard drive and that's it. Just don't access it. Just oh man, that guy is fucked.
Yeah, for real.
Which I don't support him at all. I mean, I'm not sure I support any hacker, even hackers that hack for the forces of good. I'm not sure that's the way to handle anything like that. So even if it was for the force of good, which in this case was not, he's doing it exclusively for him. He's ransoming, he's selling source code. This isn't a statement. This isn't trying to take down the man or whatever. This is, I'm going to get rich off of this. Fuck whoever's in my way. Like, fuck the employees that are going to possibly not be able to work from home anymore. And in some cases may actually have to move. If they have to work in the office and they live in another city or another state, they may have to move, pick up their families and just go. Like, he didn't care about that. He cared about the money, which,
Yeah.
But yeah, that all these issues with that people are having, unfounded issues people are having with the what the way the game looks right now reminds me of another sandbox with poor reception. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk. So the Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter account thanked players and reported that every day over the past week they've had 1 million players log in. On September 21st, there were over 86,000 concurrent players on Steam for the first time since launch. And this, of course, follows an update, which also the update had a half-price Steam discount, which could definitely help. I mean, buying game for $30 is a lot easier to swallow than buying game for $60.
Yep.
But not only did the discount coincide with a new update, it also coincided with Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which debuted last week. For those who forgot, it's an anime that's a Netflix original.
With good reception.
Yeah, it's got 10 episodes. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has 100% ripe and a 97 audience score. And welcome from Twitch's graveyard, Gavin.
Hello, sir.
I'm getting real tired of my alarm not going off.
It's fine. We
just talking about Cyberpunk and its potential of its resurrection.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2077 is one of the most notable hype not meeting expectations moments in gaming history. It was so broken and the refunds were handled so poorly that it was actually removed from the PlayStation Store, if anyone remembers that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think about Cyberpunk coming back?
So I got a little bit to say. I think that anime sounds awesome. I cannot wait to watch that thing. I'm super stoked for that. And it has the new, because I have a PS5, so it has the new PS5 update. It's supposed to be and look a lot smoother. And they have a whole bunch of like little things like transmod and like being able to change out your character however you want and on the fly. Vehicles have like more purpose of owning them. Like there's a lot of cool stuff in there that I've been reading about that actually might actually pull me in because I was a believer. I was a Cyberpunk believer. I bought that game. I had it pre-ordered, paid off when the day it came out, played it. Nah, that game was not good. And I was playing on a PS4, I believe, at the time because it took me about a couple of weeks to get a PS5.
Yeah.
So it was trash. There was all kinds of problems with it.
Yeah, I will say I do like that games in general are doing transmod if they have armor sets that have stats or whatever. Because that is one thing I've always hated is when, armors have stats and it's like, it's really good, but it's really dumb looking.
Yep.
Like, I do like that. Now you can make it look like another piece of armor you have. Like, you may actually like the look, but, it's got the better stats or whatever. I do like that they're starting to move that way.
For sure.
My thoughts on it is, like you mentioned, Cyberpunk has mostly fixed itself. It hasn't fixed itself to the point of No Man's Sky, but it is now a very playable game. And no one questioned that it was fun before. It's just a lot of the fun was ruined by the glitches and the other problems the game had.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that they did go and fix the game. I will say, the moment I knew that Cyberpunk may not meet expectations and there may be some feature creep was, it's a first-person game, and then they announced that they had customizable customizable genitalia, and I was like, I don't know about this. There might be a little too much going on and not enough other stuff of substance. I was interested in Edge Runners. Having watched the trailer, though, that kind of gore is not for me. I don't mind gore itself. Like, I don't mind playing gory games. I don't mind, like, gory anime. But it's the anime where, like, they just explode into, like, a puddle of blood. I'm just like, man, I don't know about that. Like, I don't like that. And that's very much half of the trailer. When I watched the trailer, I was like, this anime may not be for me. But despite that, I will say, having not watched the show, so I can't speak to how her character acts, but just based entirely off of the way her character looks, I'm in love with Lucy. From that anime.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I love that design. She's the waifu without actually having watched the show. And no one in the audience go and ruin that for me.
Well, I won't. I promise.
She's a terrible person. Don't tell me. Let me live in my head that she's the waifu. Are you going to be watching the anime, Gavin?
I haven't heard much about it, but I probably will end up watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got great scores. As you were coming in, I mentioned on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 100% ripe score and a 97 audience score. So it's very good from what people are saying. Before I move on, I will say, I do think that CD Projekt Red still has to answer for some of the shitty things they did at the very beginning, like them shifting the refund responsibility to the platforms instead of, taking the responsibility themselves. Like, yeah, they're going to have to talk to the platforms anyway, but, they could have been like, okay, yes, we will give you back your money and take ownership of this. And then they could have just earned so much public, positive PR on that. But no, they're like, oh, don't talk to us about refunds. Talk to Sony, Xbox, and Steam about it.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
And that's why PlayStation took it off the store. PlayStation does not do refunds. Mm-hmm. And so when people kept going them in droves saying we want a refund, we were told you would give us a refund. PlayStation's like, they said we'd give them a refund? Pull the game. That's your refund.
There you go.
No one can buy the game anymore. Fuck you.
They've made a good game in the past, but
yeah.
They're slowly turning this one into something more worthwhile. Yeah,
for sure. So let's go from men with iron implants to EA's Iron Man. So this is being developed by Motive, which hasn't done a whole lot, but if you'll remember, they did do Battlefront 2, which I would say don't blame them for Battlefront 2. I would say that's mostly EA over the developer. Because they also did Star Wars Squadrons, which had a lot of people raving about. Like, people love Star Wars Squadrons. And then they are doing the Dead Space remake. Which, one positive I'll say about the Dead Space remake is I know a couple of content creators that love Dead Space, and in fact did a Dead Space trilogy race against each other where they were trying to beat the game faster than the other person. Motive has brought those content creators and several others in to, that are big fans of Dead Space, to help them with the remake and make sure that it is entirely Dead Space and not, whatever the fuck EA did with the third game. They also have...
I know a few people that like it.
Yeah. There's a few people, but, it was not what the original Dead Space was. They brought... their executive producer was brought on from Guardians of the Galaxy, which fans will remember is Landen's 2021 Game of the Year.
Yeah, the game's good. The game's really good. You actually beat it now, right?
I have beaten it now, yes. It was very good. I got sick, right at the very end of my shift at work. I got sick, and I was like, I had everything prepared for the podcast, so I was like, I actually will be able to play. I'm gonna play Guardians again and try to get those achievements I'm missing. And then I got sick, and I just laid in bed and didn't do anything, which was sad for me. But yeah, no, it's a great game. It's single player, third person action adventure, this Iron Man game that we're talking about. And it is in pre-production. And here's what the executive producer had to say about it. It's an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to make a video game based on one of the most iconic superheroes in entertainment today. We have a great opportunity to create a new and unique story that we can call our own. Marvel is encouraging us to create something fresh. We have a lot of freedom, which is so engaging for the team. All right, guys. Iron Man, what do you think?
Joked but hesitant.
Okay.
I think. I mean, there was a PSVR Iron Man game I never got to play, and I was excited for that one. I'm still hoping for it to come to Oculus. I don't think it's going to happen though. But I don't know. Even the Iron Man games back in the day, the real cheesy Sega ones that were movie-based Iron Man games, I still had enjoyment. Just flying around as a mech is fun. So you ain't gonna convince me otherwise. So give me an Iron Man game, and that has character and story. That sounds awesome. Hopefully, character and story. Like their background, like you said, is iffy. So I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm still gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I like Marvel games. I like comic book movies. Not movie. Comic book video games. Yeah.
So I have so actually I will say Iron Man 2 is the only midnight premiere I've ever gone to as far as movies. I'm not a big movie guy, but I did go to the midnight premiere of Iron Man 2. And talking about Iron Man has brought this memory back. I remember in the action scene where Black Widow is just taking guys down left and right, and it's the first time we've seen Black Widow in action in a Marvel movie. And I remember, kind of shifting around in my seat because that made me feel a certain way. And then I look, and you can see a wave in the theater of men, adjusting themselves, in the theater. Oh, my
God.
I was like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only way that feels a certain way about that. Because we just saw, every dude in the theater was like, all right, let's fix ourselves.
Man. Wow.
But, prior to the MCU, I thought Iron Man was such a dumb looking and dumb, just a dumb hero. I thought he was essentially just a bullet, a man bullet thing, because he had the old design had that rounded helmet and stuff that just looked like it was, just a human-sized bullet. So I was like, that's dumb. That's a dumb hero.
Right.
But then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, there's a lot more going on here. And this is actually a cool design. Yeah, I'm excited about the game though. There's not a whole lot I could say about the game. Single player.
They announced it this way. I'm surprised that EA didn't try to hold that closer to their chest.
Yeah, I agree.
Something must have been left out in the open. They're just like, well, let's get on top of it.
Yeah, the single player third person action adventure. That sounds. I know this isn't Sony, but that sounds like a Sony game right there.
It does.
That is half their lineup is that.
Maybe they're trying to get in the market.
I mean, I guess the executive producer, Guardians of the Galaxy essentially is a single-player third-person action adventure. So I guess he has experience in that field. But we'll have to see. What do you think, Gavin?
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah, just a man-sized bullet, right?
I mean, no, but
so I did not expect us to take so little time on this, but that's fine because I do have a story that I don't need to look up because I feel all sorts of ways about it, and I could not do it at the time for the shorts. So let's talk about the Pokemon situation that happened this week. Have you guys heard about this? I take that as a no.
No, I've not heard that.
So there is a gaming news / Nintendo podcast featuring the people that used to do Nintendo's Nintendo Minute videos. And they have since left Nintendo and started their own podcast and YouTube channel and all that. And on their podcast, they answer Q&A about Nintendo because Nintendo likes to keep things real close to the vest. They don't like their business getting out there. So they answer questions now that they no longer work for Nintendo. Who the fuck cares, So someone asked them if they ever considered doing a Nuzlocke run on a Nintendo Minute. And so they talked about it, and they were like, we actually were planning on doing it, but as with all of our Nintendo Minute segments, we had to run it by Nintendo, and because it was Pokemon, we also had to run it by the Pokemon Company. And we were told we couldn't do it because they view Nuzlocke runs the same way they view ROM hacks. They view it as cheating the game. Even though you literally don't do anything, it's just a legal copy that you can then do whatever.
Huh.
But they viewed it as the same way that they view ROM hacks. Which got people going, what the fuck is wrong with Nintendo? And I'm like, I saw that, I go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that really pays attention to Nintendo knows that absolutely is their MO.
I think that's ruthless, man. Ruthless.
Yeah. That did not surprise me at all. But apparently a lot of people were upset about it. So much so that the biggest Pokemon fan website, Cerebi, the guy that runs that website decided to contact Pokemon Company about these, quote, allegations. And of course, Pokemon Company PR is like, no, you're free to do whatever you want with the game. We don't care. And so he's like, hey, the Pokemon Company says they don't care. These guys are liars. These guys that used to work at Nintendo and did Nintendo videos for Nintendo are lying to us. Pokemon Company would never lie to me, a fan that runs a fan website. And so people are like, oh yeah, he runs a fan website. He has more credibility than people that used to work at Nintendo. They're just nobodies that used to work at Nintendo. He runs the biggest Pokemon fan website. He's the most trustworthy. And it's just like, oh my god. Please.
Damn.
People are really dumb.
Yeah, people underestimate Nintendo. You guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, my internet is going in and out, like trying to crash or something.
Well,
Yeah, it is too. Huh. Super cool. So, if you don't hear me, that's what's going on with that.
Okay, that's fine. Real quick, what are your thoughts?
Oh, like I said, I don't know you can hear me or not, but Nintendo's ruthless, man. You're gonna be, man, they've always kind of been this way. I mean, probably like the '90s is when they really, like late '90s is when they started realizing they're going to be a huge studio for a long time. And that's when they started getting real crackdown on, not making deals with PlayStation and trying to be on their own and stuff like that. It's just, like you said, their MO, natural MO.
Yeah, they did. I guess Kit and Krista indicated they didn't know anything for sure, but from the way their bosses had acted, the DS Wii U era, the early 3DS and the Wii U era, Nintendo was bending over backwards for the Pokemon Company because the Pokemon Company was not happy with how those two systems in their initial runs were doing. Of course, the 3DS then recovered, but Wii U did not. But yeah, it did not sound like in the mid 20 teens. Did not sound like Nintendo was in a very good place with Pokemon Company. So we almost got Pokemon on other consoles, but
what an interesting world.
Yeah, that would have been something else. So, Gavin, what are your thoughts on that situation? Gavin, you still there?
I thought I was lost. I thought my internet cut out. I thought I crashed. That silent pause, that was so crazy. I was like, oh, there it went. There it went.
Yeah,
my computer's telling me I'm having connection issues. That's so weird. That's not a normal thing.
Yeah, I'm having no issue hearing you. Like, you're a little robotic, but overall, I think
you guys. I know it's not your guys' fault. It's my connection to this Discord is going in and out, and you guys are going.
You gotta love Discord, man.
The best, but some the most annoying as well.
Yeah, it's just I went on a Twitter rant about this. Mm-hmm. So our audience already that follows me on Twitter already is well versed in my thoughts on this. But I just don't understand, like, you can be a fan and also be critical of what the company says or does. And I just don't understand this thought of, oh, this fan asked Nintendo what their thoughts were, so Nintendo obviously would tell them the truth. Nintendo wouldn't tell you jack shit! Pokemon Company wouldn't tell you jack shit. Of course things that are behind closed doors are gonna stay behind closed doors. This is a Japanese company we're talking about.
Yep.
They don't even like the idea of having people be the face of the company. They want this, like Sony, they want the company to be faceless, personalityless. They just want it to exist, as just itself. And unfortunately, with both of them, that's not how it's worked. Because Jim Ryan, unfortunately for PlayStation, is the face people have attached to PlayStation. Even though they're trying to be faceless and personalityless, people have attached Jim Ryan's face to the company, which that's a bad face. That's
not a good looking face.
And then you have Shigeru Miyamoto. Like, even though he barely appears in any directs or anything, like when people think Nintendo, now that Reggie's gone and everyone else is gone, like when people think Nintendo, they think Shigeru Miyamoto. And Nintendo's never going to get rid of that, regardless of whether they want to or not.
I think it's Shuhei sometimes with PlayStation, but I know he's not really anything special there anymore.
No. Yeah, I would agree Shuhei's up there, but I would prefer Shuhei because, like I said, Jim Ryan, even I was listening to What's Good a couple weeks ago, in the What's Good Games podcast, they were like, man, Jim Ryan, PlayStation needs to find a way of shutting Jim Ryan up. Jim Ryan so often throws his foot in his mouth and just keeps talking.
Mm-hmm. He does.
But yeah, Nintendo, like I said, it didn't surprise me at all because Nintendo has such this history of I think they've actually flat out come out and said this before. We want players to play the game in the way we designed. We don't want them playing a different way. Which is why I think Breath of the Wild was such a breath, no pun intended, of fresh air. Because the game was literally designed with, you can do whatever you want in this game. And that is so anti what Nintendo does. Which is why it was refreshing. It's like, oh, I can do whatever I want? That's cool. And we still have yet to really see that with Mario. I know Odyssey was somewhat free, but it still was very... it still had some restrictions to what you could do. You know, Fire Emblem is always going to be very linear. So is a lot of their other properties. It's just Nintendo wants you to play the way Nintendo wants the game to be played. Mm-hmm. They don't want you, they don't want you playing playing a ROM hack. They don't want you playing this crazy Nuzlocke thing where you only catch one Pokemon. Do you know what the game's tagline is? It's got to catch them all. Why would you only catch one Pokemon from from the area you're in? That's crazy.
That is.
I don't know. It is what it is. I just don't understand why fans were surprised to hear this and why they believe what, the PR said about it. Of course, the PR is going to make the company look good. That's the point of PR. So, I could go on and on, but I'll just end up circling back to things I've already talked about. So we should end it. Here. Yeah, so if you liked, or even if you didn't like this podcast, make sure to do all of the things like hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and hitting that bell on youtube.com/XofPlays, or giving it a high rating on whatever podcast service you use so you can find like-minded people. Be sure to tell people about the show. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow. On all my streams, at least once I bring up extra because who knows who's watching my stream? They could be like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. He's super sexy and funny and just a cool all-around dude. I wonder what else he does. Oh, extra? I'll check that out. So, tell your friends about it. Be like, hey, you know how cool I am because you hang out with me. I listen to this extra show. You should check it out. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, you are a cool person. And you're even cooler for listening to this show. So, rant over. I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefingroom, you can financially support the show and get cool rewards as well. That's all from us. Take care.
Ta.